Here's our political panel. First time ever together. Pollster Michael Maslansky is here. Attorney and former prosecutor Liz Mandorino is here. And comedian Jim Norton also here. They can all analyze the performance last night, and you can analyze his performance because he's at Caroline's this weekend, correct?
No,
Jim?
next weekend.
Next weekend.
Yes.
Don't go this weekend.
No, this weekend I'm going to be in an adult bookstore.
Right. Fantastic. We're going to, again, there was a reason why we didn't promo that. All right, so let's talk about Mitt Romney. What changed today? Do you think that he's more likable now, Michael?
Well, I think the numbers suggest that he is more likable. He's getting a bigger percentage of the people who think that he can relate to average Americans than he has before. He's got almost a third. The conservatives seem to be coalescing to a greater extent than in the past around him. He won among conservatives. He won among Tea Party voters. This is a really good story for Romney, and it's a tougher sell for Santorum to get up there and say that he's making progress, even in this kind of admittedly moderate state.
But, Liz, he has actually done well, as usual, with people who make over $100,000. College graduates seem to like him. He won the Catholic vote again. The moderate vote, not a surprise. But Tea Party support is significant. He basically went to a dead heat with Rick Santorum.
I think he did very well with the Tea Partiers, and I'm impressed by that, but I don't think he's a particularly likable candidate as much as he is a tolerable candidate for the Republicans.
You can tolerate him?
Yes.
All right.
Well, I personally can't, but I think the Republicans can.
Now, Jim, a lot of people can't tolerate you, but that has nothing to do with this conversation.
I know, it's because I'm too handsome.
But Jim, in the big picture, do you think he's becoming more likable? Last night, talking only about the president, not about his other Republicans?
I just love the fact that we think he's relatable to most Americans. He's worth $200 million.
He earned it.
I'm not saying he doesn't deserve as much, but nobody relates to that. Like, what is, I think Ron Paul is like $5 million, and Santorum is like $5 million. None of these guys have ever had to stand in the supermarket and complain to the manager that the Coinstar machine was ripping them off. None of them relate to average Americans.
Right.
Is that a requirement to be president?
You have to relate to average Americans on some level. Biden might, and maybe because he's worth 69, he's worth $250. Like, Biden might have some relation, but none of these guys have any connection to average people.
But Liz, you could also say that Mitt Romney started with nothing. He didn't get an inheritance from his dad. He was living in a two-room apartment when he first got started, so he can relate to the early struggles.
Well, he can relate to the early struggles, but since then he hasn't been able to relate to the general population, and that's his big problem, and that's going to be the problem in the general election that he's going to face. He's going to have a tough uphill battle.
He does look the most presidential. Like, if I had to look at somebody in the White House, Gingrich is a Lego person. Santorum looks like a creepy social studies teacher. So if I had to vote for somebody who I like the way they look, I would say Romney, because he does look presidential.
Right. They're all fine people. That's just your take on that.
Yes.
So representing average Americans is a problem. What about working women, Michael?
Well, I think we've got this narrative out there now that Santorum has a problem with women, and we saw that in Illinois as well. He didn't do well among women overall. He did even worse among working women. And so I think to the extent that any candidate's doing well with them, it's going to be Romney.
Well, as a woman on the panel, I think that, Illinois is much more reflective of the states that are going to be toss-up states. He cannot relate to women at all. And the states that are coming up, states like Connecticut, even Pennsylvania, Santorum's home state, he's going to have a really hard time with relating to women in these states. I do not see him doing
Overflow
well with
crowd
that.
last night. And, Jim, women?
Well, I don't know how women feel about him, to be honest with you. I just know he's anti-porn, and it's like, Rick, what do you expect me to do?
Okay, fine. Interesting close. Jim, I wasn't expecting.
That's an important point. A home run.
Jim, Liz, and Michael, thank you very much. And you got to go back to Opie and Anthony.
Yes,
sadly.
I do.